All right, Cedric here, CR Wrestling Commentary. My thoughts on AEW Revolution, Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho match. It's stipulation if Eddie wins, then Jericho's going to shake his hand and say he respect him or whatnot. And there's really not that many matches I was looking forward to on AEW Revolution. Not many. And I was actually, going to commit to just working on CR Fire Pro. We're doing commentary for another channel, and we're working on some wrestling. I got stuff to do today. I got the road to do. So I've already done it last night. I did the matches, but I got promos and maybe some other stuff that's going to happen for the road. And I was like, you know what? I'll just listen to it while it happens. But I got to be honest with you. I'm such an Eddie Kingston fan. I'm like, every time I see him wrestle, it's a strong style fight. That's what I like about Eddie Kingston. So this match right here, it was basically the first 21 minutes of 20 minutes of the show. And I mean, it was a good match. There were things that I thought were like Eddie was backing Jericho up with headbutts to the back of his hand, which I was like, and then Jericho on the top rope doing the 5 or 10 punches to Kingston into the Frankensteiner, to the Super Frankensteiner. And Eddie was selling the punches, more or less, but Jericho can't throw them well. And here's what I'm going to tell y'all straight up. I want y'all to really think about this. See, when you watch wrestling, you want to see that they're connecting and then they're hitting, and you want to see that there's like this damage being done. But if you look at a real life fight, a real life fight looks faker than pro wrestling. I mean, when you really think about it, if you're outside, you slip and fall, and you crack your head on the ground, hopefully it's dirt, not concrete. Others might think you didn't even really hit your head, and you're sitting there kind of dizzy. And the only other time people, and you can attest to this, so through multiple videos you can find anywhere online, when someone falls and crack their head on solid ground, concrete, pavement, asphalt, such and such, hardwood floor, something like that, people don't necessarily know if you even hit your head or not, but they do acknowledge when they hear that sound, that thud, that smack when you hit your head. So that's what they go on. It's like, oh, he cracked his head or she cracked her head. You can tell, because you can hear it. Other than that, you don't know. So seeing those punches, I'm like, they don't look real. But then again, if it was real life, it might look worse. So there's that. Now, going on the match itself, Eddie Kingston just, to me, performed beautifully. I'm sure others can pick it apart and be like, oh man, you're such a mark. You can't see these things. But if I can easily see through something, then that means it's really bad. But Eddie comes in, I'm not going to take this match apart like that, but he comes in, with the half Nelson suplex or half and half overhead suplex, and Jericho is rocked. I mean, like really rocked. Jericho, it takes a while for Jericho to mount some offense, but he does. Then, ultimately they go back and forth through those chops, and Eddie is like, I'm all on you. Eddie is very believable. Eddie looked like he's in a fight. He looked like he's fighting back. When he gets hit, he looks like he's about to fall out. And yes, there's that little nitpicky thing. This is the most nitpicky thing, but when you're uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable. But it sort of kills a little bit of the suspension of belief when the wrestlers take heavy damage and roll over adjusting their tights or elbow pads or knee pads or something. They shouldn't do it then. I understand being discomforted and it might feel like something's about to give or something, but you got to find a way that either that don't happen again, or you can get a little bit on offense and then adjust as you go, because now you're on offense. It looks like you should be able to do that. The match, I mean, there were lots of suplexes. Jericho yelling at him, you better stay down. You need to stay down, and suplexing him, and Eddie fighting back, and Eddie popped him with that first spinning back fist, that Aja Kong special. and he rocked Jericho, dropped him, and Jericho, he got the walls on him, and he got the that flying two-handed knee breaker to the face, that code breaker. He got that about 2 or 3 times. He tried for that corner to corner spinning back elbow that he calls a Judas effect, and he missed, but it looked kind of sloppy the way he missed. So I was, but Eddie Kingston's, he had very little error in this. Jericho, you can tell that he's really gotten back in shape. Eddie Kingston is straight up believable. Jericho went full heel. And it made sense considering the fact that Eddie Kingston got that, and the fans are like, "We love you, Eddie. We love you." And Jericho's like, "You know what? Middle finger, all of you. Screw you." So that made sense. That was good. Jericho nailed a nice, kind of a shortish vertical suplex off the apron. Eddie sold that beautifully and whatnot. Commentary team didn't know how to vocally sell the Eddie clutching at his chest and abdomen and back. They didn't know to say something like that suplex off the top when you hit, there's no give, so the reverberation goes upwards through your body, not all the way, you're going to take the sting on your back, but it reverberates through the front more so. The body's mostly, liquid in a way, so that's just going to hurt your sternum. It's going to hurt your ribs. It's going to, it's going to cause some damage, to your chest in general. That's why he's clutching at his sternum and whatnot, because of that damage reverberating upwards and nowhere else to go. They could have did, but they just almost went kind of silent on that. It would have been nice if they had said something that would have been like, wow, a little science, a little medical, a little something. But when it comes to the remainder of the match, Chris Jericho opened up and continued for at least the first third of the match, going to Eddie Kingston's eye, and he got his eye good. His eye was all red and swollen, puffy, and he could barely see out of it. He's legitimately complaining to the ref and getting other instructions and whatnot. And the ref was asking if you want to stop it, and it was a legit question, and you could read her lips. You could read her lips, and he's like, no, but you could tell that he actually thought about it. Wrestlers wrestle injured, they wrestle hurt, they wrestle in lots of pain. And, if someone says, I can't go on, then they are injured. They ain't just hurt, they're injured. As the song say, you can work in pain, but you don't want to work hurt. And worse, you don't want to work injured, and yeah, that is logical. So the match kept going, and they were battling. Chris Jericho is not really a battler. He's more like a performer. He got the Asai moonsault. He hit that all right, but Eddie had to get into place for that. And they replayed him getting into place. That wasn't smart. They got a few of their signatures. Jericho got the Boston Crab on, or the reverse Boston Crab, as I originally ever heard of it. And Eddie, at the end, I was like, he got the Uraken, he's got suplexes. What else has he got? And then when he got Jericho and sat him up and he stepped over, I said, he's going to do the stretch plum. Plum Marico. And I'm like, oh, and he got it on, and he's doing it different than he used to do. Now he's doing it in a Tai Chi style, where he's cranking on it, and he used that arm as a lever, and he was pulling on it, and Jericho had nowhere to go. He couldn't do anything, and Jericho tapped out, and I popped. Because I wanted Eddie Kingston to win this match. Now, there's talk and rumor of Jericho getting in shape and doing all this from Brian Last, Jim Cornette, and then some other podcasts that I listen to saying he's getting in shape. He's trying to get back to WWE and whatnot. Cody left. Jericho's going to leave. And if so, I don't care. But it's a job, and this is your life. It's a capitalist society. So what the idea is what? To make money. If you're going to go where there's more money being offered to you, then that's what you do. It ain't about loyalty. It's about living your life, making money. You know, if it was just a perfect society, then it's like, yeah, be loyal, but we don't have that. We've got, you are broke or you making money. That's it. You know, and the more money you make, the more status you have, the more important people see you. So that's how that's going. You know, don't hate the messenger. You know, hate the system. If you hate the system, then you know it's easy to change the system. You know, you change it by changing your mind, changing what you do, and moving forward. You know, sort of like choose a wrestling promotion. You know, you stick with who you think is viable. But when he tapped him out, I was happy. And then, you know, Eddie didn't even know he won. He was standing there confused. He didn't know. And I'm glad the commentary team pulled that out. And it took him a while, but when he realized it's like, oh snap, I won. And so he gets his hand raised and he's like, hey Jericho, you know, we got to do this. And he did it in such, I ain't gonna lie, he's the baby face, but he's also that neutral baby face. That's what Eddie Kingston is. So it's kind of a little schmarmy what he did. You know, it's a little curtsy bow with his hand stuck out like, here it is. You got to do it right. So, and he extends his hand and then he gets a little serious. And he says, you can, and I like how Eddie Kingston projects his voice. You know, he's telling him, hey, I respect you. Shake my hand. You know, and I like that. He's telling him, Chris, I respect you. Now shake my hand. And Chris is like, he gets up, he teases to do it. He's like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And he bails out and walks away. Now, let's go on the most lowbrow of commentary about this match. People will talk about, well, look at Jericho. He's fit and he's shaping. Eddie Kingston, he just looks like some, you know, dumpy midsection garbage collector from New York. That's what he looked like. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. In New York, in New Jersey, and other places, and in SoCal Val, there's some people that are fit that get their asses handed to them by those hardcore workers. Those people that just, I live, just I move these boxes, I move these tires, I just do labor warehouse work. And then you got these fit people to come up and be like, you know, want to insult them on their body and stuff like that, and body shaming and whatnot. And then the person stands up to him, and then the fit person is like, well, now you can't back down. You've been talking this trash. And then the fit person wants, and then we're going to fight. And then that worker just straight up drag them, just dog walk them, and that's it. And people be like, whoa, oh my goodness. Like, well, yeah, you in shape, but you know, your brain ain't working. That's why you got your butt whooped. Eddie Kingston is that guy. You know, he comes across as that. That's, if you want to know what a people's champion looks like, it's one that doesn't have to tell you they are. It's one that is because the crowd says he is or she is. But in this case, he is. And Eddie Kingston is a people's champion. People love him. I've once I started seeing Eddie Kingston and seeing him wrestle and talk, I was like, I believe this guy. So yeah, this match ended the way it needed to end. I thought there were too many finishing maneuvers used, but I know they're trying to get over to show how tough somebody is, but it doesn't need to necessarily be that, you know. But I get what they were doing. I'm not thoroughly a fan of it, but I think it did come across well enough. You know, they weren't doing stupid high spots and all that and spot monkeying, and the crowd was really into it. So that tells you people love professional wrestling. They just have to see it more than the garbage wrestling. You know, that's what I'm assuming. I don't know. Part of me is like, people just, or they just want to see some people in the ring fighting and they can cheer it and LOL about it. I don't know, but it's like there's the thirst and there's the need, and when they see it, they appreciate it. And people like Eddie Kingston is the ones that can really bring back professional wrestling, because that guy would be from the NWA days. You just look at him, you're like, oh, that guy, he wouldn't have been the world champion, but he would have been, I would think, a television champion back in the mid the 80s, all of the 80s. I think he would have been up there as a television champion and possible tag champion. But in this, I think it was presented right. I like the fact that he won. How he won was great. Jericho submitted. And Eddie lived up to his promo. You know, he said, man, if you don't bring back that old Jericho, I'm going to eat you alive. And Eddie went at him. It looked stiff at a lot of points. So I think it's good. I think this was a good match. I think this was a good showing. I hope that they can use this to elevate Eddie Kingston on the roster, because he's been at the bottom for far too long. And he would look weird in the NWA right now. He would look weird, but he would be believable. So what are your thoughts if any of you saw this? You know, I'm coming at it a couple of days late, but I was like, let me give it a shot. I'm gonna review this, and I'm enjoying this. Some matches I'm already like, yeah, on. But this one, I was just happy. I literally was cheering for Eddie to win. And it's not often watching AEW that I'm cheering for someone to win. I'm usually disappointed knowing who's going to win, or how the match is going to go. No matter who wins, it's going to be terrible. This was a damn good match. Yes, some hiccups and whatnot here and there, but this was a damn good match. And I think if you can just sit back and just see it as just a professional wrestling match, not a modern wrestling match, but just a professional wrestling match, I think you'd be entertained as well. So I'll do commentary on other matches if I care to, but the primary matches I think I will go over. So with that said, take care and see you next time.